Alex Webb and Rebecca Norris Webb on street photography and the poetic image, published by Aperture in 2014. Easily available and widely available on Amazon for, I think, about a tenner. I was asked a few weeks ago, what book would I give a student photographer? Would I recommend to somebody who was wanting to understand a little bit more about the layers and the narrative structure within photography and image reading, if that's the way you want to put it. And this book always sprung to mind. There's a book I have had for quite a while. I think it's a really interesting and really inexpensive insight into the way two people work, the way two people see things. Alex Webb and his wife and photographer Rebecca Norris Webb, they share a website. They share a lot of stuff together in terms of their photography practice. I will put a link for their website in the information box, but you can see how Alex and Rebecca are influenced by each other. I can see Rebecca's work in Alex's work, and I can see Alex's work in Rebecca, and it's a really fruitful and very productive partnership on the outside. Alex is a magnum photographer who is renowned for his colour and his sort of construction of different layers within the shot. For me, his colour work and his use of the frame is second to none. So this book, for me, is a really good book to buy, and if you want to sort of find out a little bit more how to construct a bit of narrative meaning within your shot, or construct a more in-depth approach to your picture taking, then this is a really good book to buy. I'm telling you, it's just fantastic. So it's 128 pages, like I said, published by Aperture. It's Alex and Rebecca's view on composition. It's on how to structure the poetic image, as they say, and then street photography style. So let's have a little look through it. We've got this cover. It's a great shot. I love that sunflower. It's got a nice intro to them both here. It's got a lovely textured feel to this. It's a nice quality. And then we've got the same here and here, and that blue bit goes in there. So it's got. So it's a nice quality, and this acts as a sort of bit of a bookmark as well. Let's just put that in there. So, introduction by Tegu, I think it's T-E-G-U. And there is some of the table of contents. We've got camera eye, looking for photographs, mistakes as road maps, the edge, the antelope, lost in Istanbul, the attentive eye. So there's quite a lot. There's some recommended reading, which is a really good idea, and some of the acknowledgements, because not all the pictures are Rebecca's or Alex's, they're from other photographers. So Alex Webb is really renowned for his Latin American work and his colour work, and I have a favourite shot of Alex's, and I'm not sure if I can remember, it's in this book, and it's the bridge shot where you're looking on the bridge, and in the little gaps of the bridge there's a surfboard or something coming down, and in the foreground there's a bicycle. And his understanding of how to fill the frame and how to layer your photographs, never mind having the light correct and stuff, it's just incredible. And he's one of my favourite photographers, and this book really gives you an insight into, it gives you an insight into how he's looking at the frame. And because there's a dialogue between Alex and Rebecca in here, you get a sort of insight into the different layering and the way he's finding the locations, the hard work, and the inquisitive nature of his eye, looking for stuff and looking for things to play on. You know, when you're sort of in these situations, and what you're looking for in the background, what you're looking for in the foreground, the midground, the colours, the light, everything. In fact, you don't even notice this totally sort of, in a way, it just sort of offsets the picture a little bit. This woman walking away, it sort of takes away a little bit of the balance, but then again you've got this random ball being thrown here at the side, so it sort of counterbalances it out a little bit. I'm not sure this shot is a great for the gutter though, because it's just, you don't really have to push down that gutter to get the real feel of the spin of the ball. But it's an amazing shot. Well, let's skim through the back here, and here is a sort of recommended reading. It's writers, photographers, books by authors. Fantastic. And for the tenner, which you can now buy this for, it's just incredible, good value. I think Rebecca was a poet before she was a photographer. Don't quote me on that. And I think poetry and the use of the word poetic and use of that sort of dialogue is really important with their sort of deconstruction of the picture and making it a sort of a picture like that, having some poetic license to deliver a message. And I like that. There's nothing wrong with that romanticism within picture taking, and I think it's a really healthy way to look at stuff. So this is The Blind Man in the Bus. I saw a quote in an interview. Alex said, "Colour is very much about the atmosphere and emotion and the feel of a place." Again, that's going back to that poetic vision within the shot, giving it a meaning with the colour, giving it a meaning obviously with the composition and the construction of it. But Alex uses colour to develop and create either a warmth or a coldness or a different feeling associated with what we see as almost colour relevance in the way we see stuff. Like if we saw red, it would be feeling quite neurotic or danger and stuff like that. So he uses that to his advantage, and I think it's photograph. It's fantastic. The first photograph, when I'm photographing people on the street, when I'm in London, Istanbul, Madrid, Havana, where I live, the first time I push a shutter is if I'm asking the question, can I take a picture? And the second time, can I take another picture and then another? Alex Webb. And you can see he's using, I would presume he's using a bit of flash on that. And not that you can see, but it feels like it's a flat day, but it feels like there's some flash in there somewhere just to push that out a little bit. I might be wrong. It feels like it's a little bit highlighted there. And this is a quote from Rebecca. Originally a poet, I found my writing deserted me after college. Looking back, I think the kind of lyric poetry I was writing then didn't contain enough of the wider world, nor my curiosity about it. So she's obviously picking up a camera next and using her words and pictures to find a balance in the way she wants to see the world and talk about the world in her pictures. I love this shot. You don't actually see this, but it's a sort of garage wall. It's a garage door. I think it's a garage door that's got that texture on it. It's fantastic. It's called Ghost Mountain. So we've got chapters like looking for photographs, always looking. I'll try and drop this down a bit. I'm not going to show you all of this. I'm going to run through it a little bit. And what I like about Alex's work is this, is how we go straight here. Now, for those who are aware, when we're looking at a picture, we roughly left, right, intersection points for the rule of thirds. And the bottom third here is the predominant feature with the person in the land, and the top third, which is not quite a third, it's a little bit under, is the sky. So we're automatically going boom, 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 boom. All right, look at that. And the beauty of Alex's work is that he leads you off astray. So he's bringing you in on the intersections areas, but he's let this sort of really dynamic, significant figure. This is Mexico, 78. He's giving you something else to think about, and it's the same as this, This is a Charles Harbert picture, and 1968, Cushing Island, Maine. Look at the symmetry, look at the line, look at the design, and then you've got something to really mess you about a little bit with it and knock the organisation all over the place. Even though it's really organised, it's challenging that organisation within the shot and that layering. And that comes with hard work. And I presume Charles' work is an inspiration for Alex. It would make sense. And this is a Rebecca shot, which I love. And I can see the poetry in this, I can see how Rebecca is influenced by Alex, and this is just see how the colour palette of Alex is influenced by Rebecca. It's just so obvious when you look at their work. Famous Kudelka shot here, walking and waiting, and this is something he says, you know, when I'm walking, I really have to work, and I really have to work, and I have to stay tuned in. He gets up, he pushes himself, and somebody like Kudelka was exactly the same, out there, pushing, looking for suggestive images, looking and interpreting situations. And a simple shot of a dog, it's just like how in the face, you know, look at the face there, and it's an incredible understanding of looking through the frame, interpreting what's just happened, what is about to happen, and what happens next, and understanding the different layers and the whole construction of it. This is one of my favourite shots with Rebecca. It just sort of, it feels like a locust infestation, but I think it's blackbirds. In fact, I like this actually. This is, I can see where they jointly influence each other here. This is 1998, Coney Island again. Fantastic. This is Rebecca. So I'm not going to, it's a double page. And this is the Granada shot, one of Alex's quite famous shots, which I absolutely love. You've got the significant colour of that sort of Caribbean colour, isn't it? And it's just, it's ambiguous. It makes you question. It makes you feel emotion, and you're challenging yourself with the 3 or 4 different colours you're seeing in this, and you've got the red, the yellow, the orange, and the green. It's fantastic. And again, you know, just simple stuff like this. It's, I think is this Rebecca? Yeah. Challenging the norm, looking at it to the norm. And I have done that myself with a car window, and looking at the sort of, the polarization of the glass, which it has an effect on the clouds. But why not photograph it? It's just really interesting construction and a way of moving away from the normality of things and challenging yourself. This is another one of Alex's shots. This was in Bombay in India. Again, you know, look at the kid, look at the relationship going on here. There's so much going on here. And I think, you know, Alex looks at the light. He won't shoot this at certain times of day. He goes out for certain lighting, and he's looking for that sort of crisp, dark shadows and that really contrasty effect the light has on the colour. And this won't be the same all the way through the day, and he knows when to go out. He's looking for this. He may have even seen this the night before and go, I'm going to go back there. And he's waiting for the people to just fill the frame and snap away. And that's what makes a good photographer, a lot of perseverance and pushing. And here's another one. I mean, crikey. It's, you know, this is Mexico. I mean, and there's a lot of text here. I'm not even going into the text. This is called Crowded Frames. Look at the dialogue going on here. Look at the narration. It's just fantastic. And here's that. Again, check out how much is going on here. And you would even think that's Alex, but it's not. It's this kid. And this is a shot by Bruce Davison. And this is under mistakes as road maps. And there's a lot of references to Cartier-Bresson and other great sort of photographers. And you know what I like about this? I've seen a project recently on the zoo, and it was very passive and it was very organised, and it just didn't challenge anything. And I think what's interesting about this, it's challenging perspectives, and that's what both of these guys do. And this is consistent to the way she sees the world, and that's absolutely right. And you've got the legs, and you've got that whole construction, the foreground, the background. And I can see it's really important to put stuff like this in a book, like just under Serendipity, September the 11th. There's a few shots from roughly this side when it was all going down. That's really interesting. Let's just have a Here we go again. And I myself, you know, being influenced by this sort of photography, I'm always looking to see where the light is and what dimension, light and contrast shadows is going to offer me, and the colour, what is it going to offer me. And I do try a lot with get stuff, and it's not easy. And now and then I'm successful, but when you're out there as much as Alex, your success rate's going to get better because you're getting a better understanding. You're going to have more access to sort of getting great pictures. And this is called the antelope. What's this about? I was photographing the outskirts of a pair of pet coatis, raccoon-like creatures that are hunted in Cuba. I think this is a stuffed, is it a stuffed coatis? Interesting, and that you've got the sort of hole in the wall. Somebody's trying to get at it. This is called Lost in Istanbul. Oh, that one was, sorry. That was Lost in Istanbul, that sort of wanderlust, sitting in a cafes or whatever, barber shops and people watching. Alex again. There's novels as guides. This is just, look at that. I mean, what a picture. Look at you've got the front plane, you've got the mid plane, you've got the back plane, you've got the shadow detail everywhere, you've got the correctly exposed areas, all with a beautiful ambience to them and a correct level of exposure in relation to that. There's nothing peeking out, maybe the cigarette. He's waiting for the shadows, he's waiting for the people to do it. He's letting the people do it, he's just framing the shot and letting it all work and keeping his eyes open. And this is another one of his great shots. That's hard work, you know. That is really hard work, getting stuff like that with the eye and just having to shoot the hell out of it to get something like that. This is it. This is my shot. It's one of my favourite Alex Webb shots. It's just fantastic. I remember seeing that. I actually saw this for the first time in the New York office. I think it was on the wall for some reason. It was about mid-90s, and I remember looking at it, and I was just absolutely gobsmacked by it. But it's not so much the bike, and it's not the perfect timing. It's this sort of Pac-Man thing here. It's like this monster eating that. It's just, there's a sort of monster thing there, like a sort of arcade game monster. And in the 90s, we were just coming out of that arcade thing, and I think I had a little bit of a fascination with that sort of Pac-Man-y type thing. And I saw that immediately. I didn't just see the bike and the bridge. I saw this sort of monster thing eating that as a big tablet. And maybe it's just me. So, you know, we've got a great book here, and there's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of text which I'm not talking about. It's an insight. So if I'm going to give a student a book or recommend some reading for somebody to understand, as they suggest, the poetic vision within a picture and the messages you can deliver by construction of the frame and the hard work it takes to capture an image, and it's a really, really good insight, this book, into helping you move along a little bit towards understanding how to compose pictures. And this is in the Cortez review I did the other day, and that's one of his shots. And I just think it's not that old, it's 1972, and I associate Andre much earlier on, and to have something like that is not that long ago is fantastic. And I love this. It's a real inspiration to a lot of photographers, as I said that in the review as well. It's fantastic. So this book, I'm going to leave you on one picture. I've left a lot out. Check that out. Try and work that out. It's just fantastic. Asking questions. Ask questions. I hope to bring back pictures from the world that opens people's eyes, pictures that suggest the enigmatic nature of the world we live in, as well as the variety, complexity, beauty and pain. It's not for me to tell the viewers what to find in my photographs, it's for them to discover. And that without reading any of that first, that's exactly what he's trying to say. And that's what Rebecca's trying to do as well. Ask questions. But, you know, it isn't easy to do this. And I'm hoping that with these little reviews that I can offer you some insight into the photographers and the way they work. I haven't got any answers. I'm like you. I'm just looking at it. I'm going out there and trying. I'm going there and developing. I'm working on what I've got. And it's a craft. And I'm sure Alex Webb and Rebecca are learning every day. They're probably looking at your work on the internet going, oh, I like that. I'm going to try something like that. We're all the same. And it's just that they published this book and they're doing it their way and we're admiring that. But there's no reason why they're not looking at your work and admiring that as well. Because photography's passed on. It's like music. It comes from one to the other and we give it away to each other. And this is why I love talking about, or trying to talk about, I know I waffle on, about the work of other photographers. And I want to leave you on this shot. Isn't it wonderful? Just asks you so many questions. Alex Webb and Rebecca Norris Webb, Street Photography and the Poetic Image, published by Aperture, 128 pages, 2014. You can get this book for a tenner on Amazon. Go and buy it. Well done, guys.